everyone. Welcome to BAM, the show where we chat about all things sports, all things entertainment, and then at the end of the show, we put it all together to chat some sports entertainment, otherwise known as wrestling. We're your hosts, as always. I'm Boris, and I am joined by Matt.
Bonjour. How's everybody doing out there? We hope you're doing well. Boris, it was a busy week for yours truly, way crazier than I usually get. But, you know, I made it, got some sleep last night, and you're on the road. It's Road Boris.
Yeah, it's Roadie Boris. It's Road Dog Boris. It's double B. I don't know where I'm going with that. Yeah, no, it's a crazy week here in general, both for both of us and for SNME. It's a special week here. A lot of people are probably wondering, how am I getting this show right now? Well, you're getting this show because we have decided to make each and every show free this week only. We're calling it the Patron Preview Week, so you can kind of get that look as to what you're missing, because we're more than just a radio show. We're more than just that weekly show on Sunday nights where they chat about all things wrestling. Each and every single day we have a show that really focuses around wrestling. We have a Raw review, we have an NXT review, we have a SmackDown review, we have a Rampage review and a Dynamite review. And then there's this show, the hodgepodge, the smorgasbord of wrestling reviews and wrestling shows. And, well, we talk sport entertainment to kind of, change things up a little bit. But that's what BAM basically is. And, Matt and I are your tour guides to that. So hopefully you enjoy this show. Hopefully you kind of, see the benefits of being a patron. And then go to patreon.com/SNME radio, and for just $5 a month, you get every show that you're going to be getting this week. Now, a lot of people are wondering and, ask, why this week? Well, this weekend, we have a very busy weekend here in SNME, and for anyone who has a podcast, you're going to be busy this weekend because it is Clash at the Castle for WWE. It is Worlds Collide for NXT, and it is All Out for AEW. And typically, I like to give one show a week. And when I plan that free show, I usually look at the schedule and see kind of what the big topic is in wrestling. If there's a AEW pay-per-view, I usually go with one of the AEW shows. If it's a WWE premium live event, I'll go with one of the WWE shows, because everyone seems to be wanting to put on a special event this weekend on Labor Day weekend. I'm like, threw my hands up in there and said, everyone's getting everything for free this week only, Patreon Preview Week. And just remember, this Wednesday is the 31st, this Thursday is the 1st, so if you are a patron, you gotta renew. If you want to listen and be part of our after parties this weekend for the special shows, for the pay-per-views, for the premium live events, you gotta be a patron, and we'll send you a Zoom link, and you can be part of the show, get your voice heard. That's just one of the many benefits that you get here for being a patron on SNME. Extra spiel this week, Matt.
Nice. Nailed it, buddy. I think you did that pretty well. Yeah. Not only do you get a show a week, you also get to join in on the fun in the after parties. So we appreciate all of our patrons, and it's a crowd-funded, crowd-sourced project. And the more patrons that we get, the more we can actually do this as our full-time job and cover more weird things, watch more stuff like NWA 74, which I believe you caught some of. I gracefully bowed out of this time. No time for Tyrus, for me anyway.
Yeah, it was something that happened this weekend. Kind of talked about it a bit on the Ramble and caught more of it after the fact. But, it was something. It was something for sure. Dare we say my narrative was controlled for it.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It was not exactly a smashing show for young Billy Corgan, but yeah, we're going to get into that, into the wrestling portion. We like to start with a little chat about ourselves, our lives, and then some sports and some entertainment. So, yeah, man, how's Boris? How's the big homie right now?
I'm doing pretty good. Overall, I'm doing swell. As we kind of said, this week is, I'm on the road for the entire week. And I'll be back on Friday just in time for our super busy weekend. But outside of that, like at work this week, we have our fiscal year end. The fiscal year for where I work goes from September 1st to August 31st. So that's one of the reasons why I have to kind of show my face in the office in Montreal. So that's that. And then I got other stuff to do, other places to be. And obviously, just because I am going into the office, it's like, oh, Boris is here. Let's throw all the meetings, right? All of the meetings, every meeting. And I got some more responsibilities at work. So I got to figure some stuff out, meeting with some of the new team, kind of wrapping my head around, about what I just accepted and what I'm doing. And that's kind of where we're at with stuff. It's just a super, super busy week.
Nice, man. Well, that's good though. You gotta figure out that stuff right now on the ground floor. Build a nice foundation for your new position. That's dope, man. And it's good to get out. It's good to travel a little bit. I'm jealous of that. Montreal's a beautiful city.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. It's I love the fact that I've been working from home since 2015. Like, because the home base is in Montreal and my job typically is on the road, all the different roles that I've had in this company. So I've been lucky to be working from home for this long, right? So the whole pandemic stuff and all that fun stuff didn't really change much for how I work per se, outside of the fact that I wasn't traveling for a long time. But yeah, it's something to say the least.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, hey, man, that it's good though. It sounds like you have a good attitude about it too. Like, more responsibility is tough, but obviously there are perks with getting a promotion. You know what I mean? So there's pros and cons.
Exactly. But yeah, it's out of that, like this weekend, it's just going to be a super busy weekend just with SNME stuff alone. And then obviously, I try to still have some resemblance of an actual life, right, outside of here. So making plans with people as best as I can. Honestly, I just don't know what time I'll be around on Friday. That's the one thing. It's the whole, okay, I'm supposed to travel, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen sometimes, right? So it's just kind of wrapping my head around, okay, so I'm going to try to do something Friday night, possibly. We'll see. Saturday we have like the afternoon carved off. Got plans for the evening, which leads us into Sunday. And yeah, man, it's just busy. It's just busy all around. And I'm looking at like my agenda already for next week, the next work week, even taking into consideration that we have Monday off. Oh, it's going to be a busy time, my friend.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, well, hey, man, you're going to navigate it well. And yeah, hopefully you get some social life in there as well. But yeah, it's not the worst to sacrifice the social life for a weekend here and there,
Oh, that's exactly it. Like, it's you got to put in the work sometimes, right? And that's the thing. Like, you really got to put in the work sometimes. And I'm not saying sacrifice your entire life, for work or for whatever, your side hustles, as they like to say. You should never sacrifice a lot of your life for that. But sometimes you just got to, put in the work and things pay off at the end of the day, right? Like, that's gotta work to get stuff.
Yeah, absolutely right, man. And hey, we work hard here in SNME, and you specifically do. But yeah, man, social life is important as well. I had some social life this week, let me tell you. Boy, howdy.
yeah, it sounds like it. You've from going to Raw, from doing other stuff. Tell me about it. Like, we talked here and there, but I felt like last week was one of the rare times where we talked more about business, for lack of a better word, SNME stuff, than like, catching up and shooting the shit, right? Like, I felt like It was more, we're talking about TikToks, we're talking about after parties, we're talking about, Patreon stuff, we're talking about free preview weeks. Remember, this is a free preview week. Patreon.com/SNME Radio. Just $5 for all the shows, including chit chat like this. So yeah, tell me about it, man. What spurred the week that Matt acted like he was Boris?
Yeah, usually I'm a little bit more of a homebody. Not that I don't like to go out and be social, but it's just kind of my default nature to just, more be chill, more stay home and watch like a comedy special or like tap out something on my computer, do some writing. I do quite enjoy being out in the world though, and I got a lot of out in the world this week. So I think we all have that one friend who hits your life like a fucking tornado. They just upend everything and it's just like go, go, go. So we have this one friend. He's a comedian out in Edmonton. His name is Michael Moore. He's not that Michael Moore. He goes by the Birdman. And he basically is like the white, I don't know, Steve Harvey. He just wears like outlandish, garish suits and he is the loudest man. And he is just like, he is just a crazy motherfucker, but he's a good guy. He's got a good heart and lots of fun times. So yeah, I did go to Raw on Monday with my other friend, Justin Lacey, who is a patron here, and we're going to get him on some podcasts in the future. He's a bright kid and broadcast student anyway. So yeah, so my friend Mike Moore, the Birdman, comes into town. We go to the ROM, have a nice cultured evening, and then come back, get absolutely drunk, go to Sneaky D's, which was very nice. Toronto staple. If you've never been to Sneaky D's, best nachos in the city. Gotta check that place out.
Some of the best wings in the city.
Absolutely. It's a good spot. It's the classic Toronto dive, the faux dive. It's not really a dive, although it pretends to be. Anyway, so yeah, Wednesday night just got kind of trashed. They did their own thing on Thursday. We went to the Jays game on Friday, which was the day before Ohtani pitched, which was the 12-0 drubbing. We were at that Toronto Blue Jays game. Of course, this guy, we can't find him, can't friggin' get our tickets. Like, we missed the first 2 innings. We missed Shohei's first 2 at-bats. I think it was 7-0 by the time we rolled in there. So we were just getting drunk and going to that. We ended up from a Blue Jays baseball game at this like electronic show where this DJ is just spinning, and I just felt like the oldest man on earth with these children basically. But I was dancing. We were all having fun. Not surprisingly, this Birdman, he's shorter than I am, and I'm generously 5'10", which means I'm actually like 5'8", 5'9", which means he's probably like 5'6", 5'7", thick white boy, talks like this, ha, ha, lots of laughter, ha, ha. And then he's just literally cutting a rug, like the best dancer in that place. No lie. Like, he's got a crowd. People are like, oh my God, like, what is this guy doing? He's just busting moves, cutting a rug. And then on Saturday, they went to Canada's Wonderland. And I can neither confirm nor deny that this man did acid at Canada's Wonderland. So that's the kind of friend I've been dealing with all week. He's been crashing on my couch, just like not a lot of sleep, but a lot of good times. He's one of those guys who's always on like, not even 10 out of 10, like 15 out of 10, 17 out of 10. He just did acid at Canada's Wonderland, allegedly.
Maybe,
we can
possibly.
neither confirm, allegedly. We can neither confirm nor deny. But yeah, man, it's just like, I've never ever met a guy like that. But he's a good guy. He really is. We don't get along politically. Like, if we just knew each other on Facebook, I'd hate him. But because we're actually like human beings, and we could talk to each other. We went to school together. And I actually, you know what I mean? Like, it's important to hang out with people who you do disagree with. It's important to have friends on the other side of the political spectrum and who live a completely different life than you. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I love that kid. And it was nice to hang out with him. And I got some Toronto. I was like a tourist in my own city this week. It was nice.
Being a tourist in your city is always fun. Like, that's a comment I made to you last week when you went to the ROM and then ended up at Sneaky D's. Like, it's fun sometimes. And there's things that you do when you're kind of showing other people around, especially a city like any city, it doesn't matter, that you would never do because you live here, right? You kind of take advantage of the fact that you live here and you don't do certain things. Like, I've never been to the Ripley's Aquarium, right? Like, that's something I've never done. Yeah.
It's a great date spot. I've taken a couple dates there. It's a really, really solid date spot for whatever reason. I love it. The visuals are so nice. You get to walk around, get to know someone, I recommend it in any situation, but especially for a first date or like a second date.
There you go. Like, I've been to the CN Tower went up once for a family visit, right? Like, these are the things I just don't do because I live here. there's certain things that I would much rather do with my time as opposed to some of these like quote unquote tourist traps. But yeah, it's always good having people from outside of town, and it's great that you're seeing that. One thing I wanted to ask though, just because I was kind of a bit of a hermit this weekend, was something I've noticed. Though, like maybe I forgot just how busy Toronto gets, but man, oh man, are the streets just incredibly packed everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Packed, vibrant, lots of traffic too. But yeah, lots of people. It was also Fan Expo this weekend. So we were walking downtown going to the Jays game, and Darth Vader was walking by and Scorpion walked by. And I feel like it's actually like a down year for Fan Expo. Usually it's a bigger deal than it feels like this year, but people are still enjoying it, still having fun.
I don't know, man. Like taking a look at the north and south buildings and pictures from there, I would say it's busier, but you're right that the hype didn't feel like it was like in other years. But I don't know, like it just seemed busier. And I know a ton of people. I felt like the one year I don't do it is the year that like everyone I know and their mother or daughter end up going, right? Like it's just crazy. And then you also have the CNE going on, which is just a shit show, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. And there's all kinds of like really mistimed TTC stoppages, which is actually adding to the congestion and the overall craziness of the city right now. But it definitely feels vibrant again. It's a stark contrast from March 2020, like walking around Bloor Street and there's no one. It's a ghost town and you're like, oh my God, what a world.
Yeah, that was so surreal. I'll just never forget like being stuck in the States and then getting the word from not only the customer but from my work, like, hey, we're shutting down. Like we are not allowing anyone in the buildings anymore. And at that point, I'm like, I gotta get the hell home. And just those last few days, prior to Friday, March 13th, was so hectic, so nerve-wracking. It was already nerve-wracking because you kind of knew something was going on, and like I didn't even like being in the airport. Like I would get my ticket and then just sit by the gate. I wouldn't do anything else but just sit by the gate, maybe go to the bathroom if I really had to go.
Yeah, man, it was definitely like that eerie feeling, like that calm before the storm, for lack of a better term. And there was quite the storm, but the city of Toronto is back. Not many people wearing masks, although there are some, but yeah, let's not get into that. Anyway, the city's back in full force. I'll tell you that much. There are people bumping into each other everywhere. Feels like home.
Yeah, you know what's back in full force already? And it's just like, I look at the calendar, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. It's not that crazy. But in my mind, it's just like, wow, it's too early.
What's that?
Halloween stuff. The fact that spirit stores are beginning to open already.
That's a really good point. It's almost September, dude. Summer's over. I'm so glad I got this time to cram as much summer into my physical system as I could handle this week. But yeah, man, summer's almost over, dude. Although thankfully in Toronto, it does stay pretty warm. Like where I grew up in Sudbury, or even actually north of Sudbury, it started snowing like September 15th sometimes. There was legitimately snow, like a good amount of snow in Halloween half the time.
Yeah, exactly. I remember as a kid here in Toronto, in Mississauga, where, because I grew up in Mississauga, where it was snowing, right? Like that was a thing when we were younger, and then magically, for some reason, it's just not happening right now. Don't want to get into that also, but it's just crazy though, like how now the summer essentially lasts into October, right? We always had that phenomena that they always called the quote-unquote Indian summer, right? I wonder what it's called now. Anyways, but it was like that those few days in September, October, where it was just like disgusting. But now it just feels like it's the norm, right? Like we don't actually get fall until closer to November, right? Like, and even then, fall and spring are getting so short that we literally go from like super heat and humidity to snow and why am I living in Toronto?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Although Toronto winters haven't been too bad lately. Let's knock on
Mm.
wood. I might be bringing on a bad one this year. Uh, anyway, what if what if we did just do masks and politics and just just those
Well then,
topics?
well then
Also,
we could have Tyrus on any time he wanted. Yeah, I went there.
If Tyrus were to come on the SNME radio show, I would at least like the chance to be on and to talk to him if that were to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I don't know. I think the brand is probably above somebody who's on Fox News and who's got numerous allegations against him. And I think that could be said about any brand. I think that could be said about the NWA and this brand as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like there's certain people who just you don't need to give mic time to, right? And that's that. Anyways, but I forgot.
But I was just talking about the Birdman, man, and he's pretty right wing. I love that guy. It's good to have opposing viewpoints. I'm also saying we have to draw the line somewhere, and I think a good place to draw the line is Fox News correspondent who has numerous sexual misconduct allegations against him.
Yeah,
you know.
But you know what? You actually bring up a great point, and that's like the whole having people with opposing views in your circle of friends, right? Like I do, I 100% do. God, I have them in my own family, right? Like,
right.
It's important, you know. And I think that sometimes people have to look past political views. Sometimes, yes, it can define a person. Sometimes, yes, it can kind of have a person act a certain way, but at the end of the day, and this is what I've always said, and maybe like because I've always dealt with online groups in some shape, way, or form, like the Red Patch Boys, primarily online. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff in person, but like the major connections were built online on message boards, similar to SNME, right? Like similar in the sense that like all built online. By the way, news about just the online presence, which I'll get to in a second. Now, you know, so it's just important, like, to meet people face to face, to have that face to face conversation, because you'd be surprised at what people type versus how people actually are sometimes. This is a very generalization of stuff, but you know, oftentimes you'd be shocked at how different people are with a face-to-face meeting. Sometimes people don't have the balls to say the stuff that they do behind a keyboard, and maybe that's a fault, right? Maybe that's an X on becoming friends with them. But at the same time, I don't know. I find that people are just so tunnel visioned right now.
Yeah, man, especially in this particular political climate, it's important to remember that people on the other side generally are good people who want the same things you do. They just were raised differently, and you know, they have opposing views on things, and for the most part that's fine. I do think there are some crazies and there are some extreme opinions
every side
that are obviously like offensive and you can't live with, you know what I mean? But I just don't think that if somebody votes conservative, that means that they are a racist or a bigot or a homophobe or whatever it might be. Although there are people on whatever side, and you know, I don't think just because you vote liberal, it means that you want to turn everybody's child into a whatever, you know what I mean? Let's not even get into those talking points. But anyway, our point here is good homie Boris. It's just important to hear everyone out, you know, and I think I can see the value in even having a Tyrus on the show, but I'm just saying I would love to be there if it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Couple things before we get to the actual show itself. I was given this hat. See this hat? Nice hat, right? Pretty nice.
It's pretty nice lid.
Pretty nice lid, right? I like the colors. I like my purples. I think with my skin tone, a purple always looks nice. A pink always looks nice with me. I have tons of pink shirts, tons of purple shirts.
Nice. So this is terrible radio right now. So for the listener, which is 100% of the audience, Boris just put on a black hat with a purple logo.
I was literally about to explain what it looks like, right? I was just setting the stage. Now there's a big logo, says "Oh my," And it says, underneath that, it says, do what's natural. Remember, this was given to me. And I'm going to start wearing this all the time. I was told after the fact about what this brand actually is. It's a brand of sex toys.
Nice. So you're rocking a dildo hat around the city. Bold move. Bold move, Boris.
That's me in a nutshell. And you know what's funny? Knowing this, I will wear it more.
Yeah. Is that so? Well, hey, man, live your life.
I don't know why you're shocked about this proclamation I just said.
I'm not necessarily shocked, having gotten to know you over the last couple years. I'm just considering myself willingly donning the dildo cap, and I probably would.
Just dildos, my friend. There's sex toys is more than just dildos. You got swings, you got pleasures, you got chains, you got cuffs, you got oils, you got candles. Shall we have a whole episode about this? Do we need an education about sex toys? I'm stopping right now.
I think we should probably well, that was the entertainment portion of the podcast, I believe.
For myself, at least.
Old dildo hat Aguilar rocking in the city, just living his best life. No, man, hey, it's a fucking hat. That's hilarious though. It's even funnier that you didn't know when you got it.
Yeah. It's and the origin of the hat is even funnier. Anyways, so one last thing before we get to the show itself, and that is, we are tentatively planning for the Wednesday AEW show, the Dynamite here in Toronto, for a get together of the SNME group.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, I'm into that. This is the first I'm hearing about it, actually. So
yeah,
please,
actually, I never mentioned it to anyone just yet. But Randy, one of the hosts of the podcast, the host of AEWTF, he volunteered, and I graciously accepted the offer, because anytime anyone can take something off of my plate, go ahead. Go right up and do it, as long as it makes sense. And we just talked about location. I know Toronto really well. I know Liberty Village really well, with Coca-Cola Coliseum being near Liberty Village. I'm thinking TFC Hangouts. So I'm thinking it looks right now to be Brazen Head, which is a great bar in Liberty Village. Huge ass bar. I know it'll be busy for AEW. So we're making calls. We're trying to set up like an area and stuff like that. So stay tuned. Because I think it'll be a perfect time. Considering the amount of posts that I saw of people going, it just makes sense for it to be for Dynamite as opposed to Rampage.
Right. So are we going to get together on the night of the show, before the show, after the show?
On the night of the show. And what I'm hoping is that even if you do not have tickets to go, that we can have a viewing of the show itself.
Right. Well, that's fun. So yeah, we'll figure out all the details. But yeah, man, that would be really cool to meet some patrons, meet some people involved with SNME Radio. We did have a staff get together not too long ago, but I still haven't met the East Coast dads in person. I'm sure I've met just in passing at indie shows. I'm sure I've seen Randy and the Dark Side boys, because they're good Toronto lads, but I haven't met Randy and shook his hand, and you know what I mean, although I've talked to him on Skype and stuff. But yeah, man, it would be great to meet some friends of the show and some hosts of the show as well. I'm super into that idea. Dope.
All right, so let us move in to from happy conversations to a conversation that, as a Blue Jays fan, I don't know why I'm shocked. I don't know why I don't know why I have faith. This is why Jason Agnew is always correct when he says a pessimist is never disappointed. Because the Blue Jays, my God, taking 6 of 7 possible games out of the Yankees and the Red Sox, sweeping the Red Sox, going into the weekend facing one of the weakest teams, one of the hardest, crappiest teams, I should say, in the American League. At one point this season, going into a 13-game losing streak, riding the weekend on a 6-game losing streak, and the Blue Jays get swept. They got done. Not only did they get swept, they got held to 3 runs the entire weekend, all coming on Sunday, which, you know what? I knew this was going to happen on Saturday. I knew Saturday was going to be a tough game. Not only was it Shohei Ohtani versus Alek Manoah, but anytime that we have a special celebration, the team just implodes and forgets how to play baseball. And on Saturday, the Toronto Blue Jays celebrated 30 years, the 30-year anniversary of winning the World Series in 1992. They brought back, most players who are allowed to actually show up in public, and they celebrated that. So, of course, we were going to lose Saturday. But, man, Friday, embarrassing. That game, 12-0, was it? I forget what it was. It was embarrassing.
It was.
More so, Jason Agnew and I were planning to go to a game at some point this weekend. Originally, we were looking at Saturday. Then it was going to be Sunday. But then, some stuff happened, so we couldn't go. But, man, I'm so glad we didn't go.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, Friday I went. It was the worst game I've ever seen. In some ways it was a lot of fun. But yeah, 12-0. I saw Whit Merrifield pitch. Rare that the center fielder gets to pitch. So that's not a good sign, though. So what was it? 12-0, 2-0, 8-3.
Correct. That's exactly it.
We got outscored 22-3 by the Angels. Yeah, rough. But I've also heard that the Jays have made an error in 10 straight games. So to me, that's just a young team who's lost focus a little bit. It's a long season. They were basically thought that they had made the playoffs safely already. And now Baltimore's nipping on their heels. Minnesota even is nipping on their heels. The Chicago White Sox are way more talented than their record. They could make a run in the final month here. The Blue Jays are in a little bit of trouble. Now, I think they're incredibly talented, and they just need to focus. That's all they need. 10 straight games with an error. All they need is to just wake up and focus. Vlad's making crazy throws from his knees. It's just guys, it's important now.
The basics.
Settle down.
You gotta get back to the basics, and I'm finding that even the basics sometimes the Jays forget. There was a play on Saturday's game. I watched all the games on TV for the most part. There's a play on Saturday's game where it was a very, 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 very stereotypical run-of-the-mill double play, and the Jays made it look so difficult, from the throw from third to the catch on second to the relay to first. It honestly looked like the Bad News Bears were playing. It just looked so difficult, making not that a double play is easy, but there are routine double plays. This is as routine as it could humanly get, and the Jays just make an adventure out of it.
Yeah, man, but that's exactly what it is. It's just a young team who has played a lot of baseball and is just running into the wall a little bit. And hopefully they break on through that wall and they sprint to the end of this race, and it's all forgotten. So let's quickly go through the standings right now.
The Wall, former WCW wrestler?
Yeah, well, of course, the Wall, brother. That's the Wall, brother. It's the Wall. That is exactly what happened. Toronto just ran into the wall. Brother. So yeah, quickly just to paint the picture. So the AL West, Houston leads it. They're first in the AL, 82-47. AL East, which is Toronto's division, the Yankees lead that, 78-50. AL Central, Cleveland leads that at 67-59. Your 3 wildcard teams: Tampa Bay, 70-57. Seattle, 70-58. Blue Jays, 68-58. So the Blue Jays are in the final wild card spot. They are 6th in the AL. If the playoffs started today, they would make the playoffs. Number 7 is Baltimore, 67-60, 1.5 games back. So Baltimore's right there, nipping on their heels. Minnesota, 65-61, right there as well. That's your 7 and 8 seed. So Toronto needs to heat up and watch out for Baltimore and Minnesota. And I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think Baltimore is going to make it yet. I don't think Minnesota's got enough to really pull through here. I think the Jays will be fine. Looking at the standings.
I think so too. And I know that we have some easier games coming up. We have a super important series to end the season, and that's against Baltimore. So, and then we also have, I think, 5 games in 4 days against Tampa Bay Rays, the Devil Rays, as they used to be called.
Oh, a little double header sandwiched in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, those are humongous, especially if we're closing the season against Baltimore. That could decide the AL wild card right there. Looking at the standings right now, that would be crazy. Let's quickly do the same thing in the NL. Your boys, the Dodgers, on a borderline historic pace, 88 and 38, a plus 285 run differential, which let's quickly just unpack that for a second. Run differential is basically how many runs you've scored versus how many runs you've given up. They are plus 285 right now. That's pretty crazy with a month left in the season. The all-time record, Boris, for run differential, the 1884 St. Louis Maroons with a run differential of 458. The next two teams, 1939 Yankees featuring Lou Gehrig, 1927 Yankees featuring Babe Ruth. So there you go. The
Not
39 Yankees.
Not bad company to be part of, right? That's a crazy stat when you actually think about it. Like, that means they've scored 285 more runs than they have let in.
Absolutely, man. And they're just burning it up. I don't know if they're going to catch the 27 Yankees who had 371. That seems a little unrealistic. I don't think they'll catch the 39 Yankees who had 411 or the all-time record, 1884 St. Louis Maroons. We know them. We love them. But anyway, so yeah, Dodgers killing it in the NL West, 88 and 38. NL East, the Mets, secretly one of the stories of the year. They've just been great all season, 82 and 47. And the Central is led by the Cardinals, 74 and 54. Sorry, go on.
No, sorry. I just wanted to talk about the Mets because, the Mets are going to Met, right? The Mets are going to Met. They've been struggling similar to their counterparts in the Bronx. They've had a really rough few months to the point where I've said it, the Atlanta Braves are catching up quick, right? And it's to the point where I really do believe in my gut of guts, as we say here on BAM, in my heart of heart, that the Braves will catch up and surpass the Mets. And there's nothing better than that because, the Mets, like, it leads to such intriguing TV at the end of the day, and that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And look, I hate the Mets. I really freaking do. But the Braves. I hate the Braves more than anything else. But yeah, and there's nothing sweeter than to see Buck Showalter struggle.
That's hilarious, Buck Showalter. Yeah, man, I don't mind the Mets. I think Pete Alonso's nice little power hitter there. He's like, well, not a little power hitter. He's an incredible power hitter. They have the best pitcher in baseball, arguably, in Jacob deGrom. I like that team. They made some moves there, But Atlanta are the number one wild card, the 4 seed in the NL right now. They're 79 and 50. The Mets 82 and 47. Atlanta are only 3 games back. So They could easily catch the Mets for sure. Your 5th wild card, Philadelphia Phillies, featuring Bryce Harper and Rhys Hoskins. They are 72 and 56 right now. And your 3rd wild card right now are the San Diego Padres, 70 and 59. But they are without Fernando Tatis Jr. for the rest of the season and the playoffs and some of next season. So Milwaukee at 67 and 59, a game and a half back. Theoretically, they've played 3 less games, right? So theoretically, they win their series. They're tied with, or they sweep a series. They're tied with San Diego. I think Milwaukee in the long run gets that 6th wild card.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I'm a fan of Milwaukee. I'm a fan of Tellez. So let's see that happen. Look, the Padres, I don't get the Padres. Like, that's a team that just can't buy a championship.
Now, literally, they can't do it, and they have tried. But yeah, well, losing their best, the heart and the soul of their team to a PED suspension is going to hurt any team. So that's what fucked them this year.
And I know we haven't talked about that just because it is, for me, it's a whatever story, right? Dude use PEDs, got suspended. nothing else to that story, in my opinion, right? Don't want to give that time. We've seen this happen in the past where superstars get suspended for PED use, and more often than not, they don't come back the same.
That's a really good call. Although sometimes they do in every sport. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. This guy's way too young. I think it's crazy to say, well, he got suspended for steroids. Now his career is going to be over.
I wanted to highlight that. Like,
it's a concern.
It's a story when he comes back, right?
100% is for sure, man. But yeah, no, I think it's rough times for San Diego. They do still have a great roster, even without Tatis Jr. But Milwaukee's got some awesome pitching. Corbin Burns is incredible, always perennial Cy Young contender. They're so good. So I think the Brewers are going to take that final wild card spot in the NL.
I think so too. You know what? Adding this third wild card spot is kind of paying off for MLB because you're seeing two amazing races just for the wild card spots in general, both in the AL and the NL. So for me, that's a win. And I consider myself a traditionalist, right? Like, I'm a person who doesn't want to see a robot calling balls and strikes. I'm a person who opposes time clocks on pitchers and stuff like that. Like, I love baseball at its most pure and humble and non-technology use, but times have to change, right? I'm not gonna be yelling to clouds out here, but this whole wild card stuff making for intriguing TV, if anything.
Absolutely, man. I like the wild card. I like the extended wild card. Heck, I like the pitch clock, and I wouldn't be opposed to robot umpires either, to be completely honest, until they want to take over baseball and hit the home runs themselves, and it leads to the AI revolution.
Yep, then we're screwed. Now, a couple things came up on the BAM Facebook group, not the SNME Facebook group, the BAM Facebook group, and that is in relation to two things. Number one, got a question in regards to next year's schedule, because a lot of people are like, because I posted the Jays schedule for 2023, and a lot of people are saying, why are they facing this team? Why are they facing that team? Now, MLB for the longest time had unbalanced schedules. What does that mean? Essentially, it means that you're going to be facing a random set of teams, and you're not necessarily going to face every team in the league. So it's unbalanced in the sense that your schedule might be very different from, say, your rival's schedule or a similar team on the National League if you're an American League team, right? So, for example, the Jays schedule looks very different and could be easier or harder than the Dodgers schedule, So that's an unbalanced schedule where it's a random hodgepodge of who you're going to be facing. Pretty random, but you obviously will face teams in your division the most. About a third of your games are already taken up with interdivision play. So that means in the Blue Jays' point of view, we face Baltimore, the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Devil Rays. Sorry, the Rays. I don't know. I'm so old school. And the Rays a lot, right? Which makes, when you look at the Jays historically, if we were in any other league outside of the AL East, we would have been making the playoffs a lot more. But, when they decided to split the leagues up into three divisions, the Jays did have an offer to go to the American League Central, but the powers that be at the time saw money symbols, and they're like, we want to face the Yankees, we want to face the Red Sox a lot, so we ended up in the AL East. Anyways, that's the unbalanced schedule. MLB in 2023 is turning into a balanced schedule. So what does that mean? That means that we are going to be facing each and every team in the majors at least for one series. So we're going to essentially face every National League team at least once, either home or away, every 2 years. But this means that the Jays will face off against 29 other teams in the MLB next season. So that's why we're going to be facing teams that we typically don't face, like the Dodgers. We're facing the Cubs again next season. That's the team that people were like, the Jays are facing them. So I'm a fan of this, right? Especially me as a Dodgers fan. I get to see Jays versus Dodgers every single year, once every 2 years here in Toronto.
Yeah, man, it's so cool. I love this idea. I think it needed to happen years ago. I think an unbalanced schedule is quite silly. I do want to say, just looking at the schedule coming out of the All-Star break, one of those teams we never ever play, the Arizona Diamondbacks, are coming in to Toronto after the All-Star break. I might try to get tickets to those games because those are going to be the least popular games of the season. I might get some good seats for that.
Exactly. And that's the thing, right? You see teams who you rarely see, and teams like, the San Francisco Giants. Like, to me, those are awesome teams to possibly have in the sky once every 2 years. So that's a lot of fun. Now, how did they get this to happen? This might be good for the Jays in the long run, right? Seeing that we do face the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Rays, and the Orioles the most, they've essentially eliminated some interdivision games to open up the schedule to face your National League teams a little more. So this means that we're going to be facing our divisional rivals less, which could be a good thing, depending on how good the AL East is, which for the past season or two has been maybe the hottest division in baseball.
The past season or two, the past 75 years, the entire time that I've been watching baseball, the AL East has been scary and has screwed the Jays a number of times. So I love this for every possible reason. But yeah, like you said, if you're in a power division and you're playing all these tough teams in the AL East being the hardest, most powerful division, obviously it will help. Bring us the Arizona Diamondbacks. Bring us the Colorado Rockies. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Now, the second question was in relation to markets. Now, this person asked, Sean Burkhead, I should say, he asked, are there still small market teams in the MLB? Short answer, hell yes. Hell yeah, there are. Just because a city has a team doesn't mean that they're putting in hundreds of millions of dollars into the payroll, right? So a small market team would be like the Oakland Athletics, or one of the most other famous small market teams would be the Tampa Bay Rays, right? Like, these are technically considered small market teams. Now, if you're thinking small market team like Wichita, Kansas, no, the MLB doesn't have that, right? But there are teams who don't put a focus on spending money.
Yeah, no, there's always going to be the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers and Angels. Maybe we'll see when the Ohtani and the Mets.
Let me throw this in. The Jays, people love criticizing Rogers. If you look at the payroll distribution, the Jays are always in the top 10. Usually in the top 5.
They should be, man. They have Rogers backing them. It's a multi-billion-dollar corporation. They should spend more money. I hope if Ohtani hits the
common misconception, right? People think that that Rogers and the Jays are cheap. They can be sometimes, and yeah, you have other factors as to why we can't sign players to Canada, right? These are American hicks or Latinos who think we live in igloos, who just don't know better, right? Or don't want to deal with taxes and stuff. Anyways, so what I'm trying to say is Toronto, they spend money.
Yeah, they should spend more money. I hope that when Ohtani hits the market, they spend even more money and try to get him.
Sure.
All right, well, are we done with baseball talk there, big homie? That's all I got to say about the topic.
We are. Just wanted to quickly touch on some F1 because we talk about all random sports, including cricket, hurling, esports. Hell,
whatever.
We should chat some.
I don't think we talk.
Shut the hell up.
I don't think we talk whatever.
You're killing me today. Anyways, let's talk some F1.
I'm killing you today. Okay, buddy.
Are we going to get into a fight here as we record?
No. Cut off every fucking point I've been trying to make. Anyway, let's tell you talk F1 because I have no idea about the vrooms, and then let's get into some professional wrestling.
All right, F1. Yesterday was the Belgium Grand Prix. Amazing race. It's one of my favorite tracks to watch. I was talking with Dan Lavransky. He's a huge F1 fan, and it's his favorite track got renewed for 2023. Super cool about that. But yesterday's race was not the most exciting to see who's going to win. But it was a fun race because, the current champion, Max Verstappen, from the Red Bull's team, started in 14th position, literally went from 14th to 1st in the first third of the race and just kept pace and dominated the race. Like, that performance alone is something to talk about. Also, in the first lap, within seconds of getting the green light, Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso just did this nasty looking crash, just tried to overtake each other and just crashed, knocks Lewis Hamilton out of the race. His struggles and Mercedes' struggle continue. But yeah, it was it was a super fun race. One of the lines that made me laugh, and I forget exactly who the two racers are. It's escaping me right now, and it's too short notice for me to actually Google this, even though I could have Googled it at the time that I said I could have Googled it, but I didn't. And that's the commentators. They're the European commentators. We get the European feed here in Canada, and they named the two racers, and they said this is the first time that two Canadian racers are in the Grand Prix at the same time. And then they kind of paused, and then they said, and that is the most useless stat that I will read to you during today's race.
That's amazing. It appears one of them is David Croft, or Crofty, as he likes to be known. No, as he's more commonly known to fans. Thanks, Google. But yeah, so Verstappen's just still absolutely killing it, and he's the best at this thing?
I think so. He gets a lot of flack because of his ego. I think the Netflix show didn't help that. But he's kind of like an unproven. His dad's like the most annoying person in the world. Very well known in the race community. But he's good. He's freaking good. And the Red Bull cars are just amazing right now. So hopefully with some of the rules that they add over the offseason, they'll kind of balance the field a little more. But Red Bull just has by far the best car. You can put me or you behind a Red Bull car, and we wouldn't be in last.
I'd be in last. I would for sure.
I would probably crash and like.
I would kill me and Lewis Hamilton, not on purpose. But yeah, man, no, it would. Oh boy, I would definitely finish last. But I get your point. You'd probably be all right.
I'd fare all right in a Red Bull car. But yeah, Red Bull is just killing. Not only is Max Verstappen leading the single points race, but Red Bull is leading the builders category right now, which is just, it's great for them. Mercedes is struggling. Lewis Hamilton is struggling, which kind of sucks to see, right? Just because he had such a dominant run for so long.
Yeah, no doubt. But it's not necessarily over. You know what I mean? But absolutely. Hey, sometimes, even the greats have an off season. Maybe he'll be back.
Maybe, like I said, maybe by the time that they make whatever changes they have to, we'll be able to kind of get back into it, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we were going to talk some college football. We're going to move that to next week as the season begins. We'll kind of do like an overview of NCAA football. And there's a lot of chatter about realignment. And I think more news is going to come about realignment, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten especially, with blocks happening, with feuds happening internally at schools. UCLA is imploding. Everything is fine at UCLA. Oregon might be moving to the Big Ten. So we're going to save that chat for next week, because I do believe that we're going to get a lot more news this week about realignment and just the NCAA in general.
Yeah, you definitely. We have a lot of football talk next week, because I'm also going to be hitting you up with a little NFL preview, Boris, because the season begins Thursday, September 8th. So our September 5th show is going to be the last chance. Also, we're going to have to do some star ratings for all of the wrestling that happens this weekend. So it'll be a packed show next week on BAM. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, so if you want to listen to that show and more, patreon.com/SNME Radio. For just $5, you get this show and every single show that is going to be available to you this week, including a Raw review, a SmackDown review, a Dynamite review, a Rampage review, more and more reviews, all the reviews. One wrestling show just about every single day.
Yes, sir. The AEWTF boys, the Dark Side boys, talking about all things AEW once a month as well. There are also some bonus shows like that. Agnew still doing a trivia show. We got Dan the Mouth Lavransky pumping out a classic rock show. Like, we got some good stuff here. We like to talk some sports and our general disgusting shenanigan-filled lives. So hopefully you're enjoying the show.
Including... no, whatever. I'm not even going to go there anymore. All right, so is it time to move on to
hat?
Dildo hats, exactly.
Yes. All of the dildo caps you could possibly handle on your podcast feed.
Yeah, and then some. All right.
So did you watch Impact Wrestling this week, big homie?
Only did I watch Impact Wrestling, I filled in for Bob Kapoor over at slamwrestling.net to do my the Impact review analysis report. So that's something that you can check out at slamwrestling.net. Great Canadian company, great Canadian media division doing media division stuff for professional wrestling, including tons of interviews, tons of really fun different articles that you get from other wrestling sites. That's one of the things, my major takeaways from Slam, right? Like, they do a hell of a job in tracking down obituaries, getting these old school people doing interviews. It's a really fun site to see, right? It doesn't just focus on the major promotions.
Absolutely. And you know what it is? It's that Greg Oliver is an absolute historian and, quite frankly, a legend. He is a professional wrestling legend in Canada in terms of the way he's covered this business and the class with which he's done it. Like, he is legitimate, and that's why Slam Wrestling is so good, period.
Yep, exactly. And sometimes it just like boggles my mind that Greg and I just have this random conversation about MLS and TFC and soccer in general, right? And I'm like, this guy's literally writing a book for XYZ person as we speak. And he's taking time out of his day to chat soccer with me.
That's really cool, man. Absolutely. Yeah, he seems like, I've talked to him briefly, and he seems like a really great guy. He's actually asked me to help out, and I couldn't find the time, but I would love to pitch in with Slam Wrestling in some form, because I love that website. I've read it for years.
Yeah, same here. They used to be part of a bigger media company, right? And the fact that they are not anymore and still kind of have been able to maintain that momentum just goes to show you how good and talented the staff is.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do. I like to think we've done the same thing here at SNME Radio, and some other places have done the same thing. And it's tough. It's tough to do.
It is so
shouts
tough.
Shouts to anyone who's pulling it off.
Yep. All right. Impact Wrestling starts off with a Knockouts World Tag Team title match as VXT, Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo go up against Jordynne Grace and Mia Yim. Amazing match to start the show, dude.
Nice. Chelsea Green and Deonna Purrazzo. I like that pairing a lot. I hope that they get some rub here. I hope they go far.
Yep. And they did a great job of Jordynne Grace is your Knockouts champion. They kept her super strong. Mia Yim was kind of like the fourth person out, but even she had a good match. Impact doing a great job of making Mia Yim look strong. Essentially, Jordynne Grace overpowered VXT constantly, so VXT needed to distract the ref, distract their opponents, and that's how they gained the advantage. At one point, Chelsea Green distracts Jordynne Grace as she was entering the ring. Then VXT hits Grace with their pendulum for the pin and the win. So your knockout champions are still VXT.
So Deonna Purrazzo pins your champion, Jordynne Grace, pins the world women's champion of Impact. That's notable.
Exactly. That is notable. It should be noted that there is an Impact Plus special happening on the 23rd of September called Victory Road. That's September 23rd, and they're setting up for that. And also, they're sort of planting seeds for the matches for their biggest show of the year, Bound for Glory, which is happening on October the 7th.
I believe that's a Friday, right?
I believe. I can. No, I'm not going to finish that one. That's a song we can't really sing anymore. Yeah, it is a Friday.
Oh no, R. Kelly's been canceled. I love that song. Oh, Space Jam. It took such a blow. Damn you, R. Kelly. Sorry, please continue.
Yep. All right, the next match was Carl Anderson versus Mike Bennett, with the stipulation that if Carl Anderson wins, Maria Kanellis is banned from ringside when the Original Kingdom and the Bullet Club, the face off for the tag team championship. So Taven obviously comes in. He wants to get involved. Luke Gallows comes back. He chokeslams Taven right on the ring apron. Anderson takes control of the match. He hits the gun stun on Bennett for the win, which means that Maria is banned from ringside when the two teams face off, whenever it is that they face off. Which, for the record, right after the match, Scott D'Amore said, y'all are facing off against each other next week on Impact.
Well, there you go. But yeah, I don't know why you take Maria Kanellis away. She's the only interesting part of the act. Hey-o. Anyway.
Pretty much, right? All right, let's move on. So Savannah Evans does Savannah Evans stuff. Killer Kelly is making her presence known. She ends up grabbing Tasha Steelz and essentially scares her and says, next time you'll see it coming.
Nice. So what has happened to Tasha Steelz since she lost her championship? Nothing? Is it a Hangman Page situation?
Yeah. It's very much a Hangman Page situation. She's just there, right? She's doing stuff. They have her at least in this new feud, but even when she was champ, though, she wasn't featured, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, man. It's tough. It's tough to feature everyone. It's clear that she's not maybe in their top 5 most valuable women. So I don't know.
One thing that we do
kind of sucks for her.
Yeah, sorry. One thing that we do have to remember, and I think my camera's like a couple blips behind, which is why I'm cutting audio from you so much today. And I do apologize, Matt. I am sorry, Matt, for cutting you off. I forgot what my point. Oh yeah. The Knockouts division in Impact is super strong. Like, it is there are so many talented people there. So if you're even making it onto TV, it's huge.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Just like that, Jordan Grace is really, really good. Obviously, Chelsea Green is super talented and great on the microphone. Deonna Purrazzo is the most underrated female wrestler in professional wrestling. She is full stop fantastic and needs more recognition for that. Mia Yim, right there, just the opening tag team match. That's 4 women who are above Tasha Steelz on the card. It's not even getting into like Rosemary or whoever else, right? So yeah, I think she's safely like not top 5 in the company in kayfabe.
And then you have people that they're trying to put a name to, like Killer Kelly, Misha Slamovich. They're just, it's such a Jessica, formerly Jessica Havoc. Now she just goes as Jessica. Super, super talented. And we haven't even talked about people like Rosemary, right? Like, it's just such a strong division. And I know.
Absolutely.
Anyways.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Other than me just now. But yes, dude. Yeah, continue, please.
But in general, right? Like, all right. Then we got 2 squashes. Bhupinder Gujar beat Jason Hodge very quick. Brian Mayers was out for commentary. After the match, Mayers enters the ring. For some reason, he hits Gujar with a cheap shot. He then shoves the referee, Scott Armstrong. Scott Armstrong shoves him back. Gujar hits Mayers with the gargoyle spear, which is essentially a middle rope spear. Then he does this 3 count and steals Brian Mayers' Digital Media Championship. They cut to the back, and Gujar essentially says if he wants his belt, he can come get it himself.
Funny, Digital Media Championship, while I understand it is kind of a good idea on paper, it doesn't even hit as hard as TV Championship. It just sounds like a jobber title, Maybe the fact that it's on Kurt Hawkins, that's not helping. Yeah. The former Kurt Hawkins, Brian Myers. But yes.
Yep. All right, we had Josh Alexander versus Vincent in a non-title match. This match was actually pretty good. You know, I enjoyed this match. Josh Alexander,
Nice.
Gonna Josh Alexander, right?
He's been one of the best wrestlers. He is always one of the best in-ring technical wrestlers in the business over the last 5-6 years. If you made your list of the 50 best technical wrestlers going, like, he would have to be near the top of the list. And he's just, yeah, man, I'm not surprised that he got a good match out of seasoned veteran Vincent.
Yep. Hits the C4 spike, gets the win. After the match, his Bound for Glory opponent, Eddie Edwards, was at the entrance ramp with a mic. And he says that he and Josh Alexander, they don't have to be enemies. You know, you don't have to listen to the crowd. You don't have to listen to the marks. You don't have to listen to the idiots. You and I could be a force to be reckoned with if we work together. Eddie Edwards essentially, you know, is trying to get on Josh Alexander's good side. However, he hits the ring, and Heath, eventually attacks Edwards out of the blue, hits a wake-up call, and just runs away.
Heath, the former Heath Slater, the Ginger Ninja.
The reason for this, good line, the reason for this is because Heath has vowed to take out all of Honor No More.
Ah, I see. Okay, very good.
Yep. All right. We get some more backstage stuff. Raj Singh was with Shira. They're talking about becoming unstoppable. We see Moose and Steve Macklin arguing. Sami Callihan attacks both of them. Macklin starts bleeding from the attack when he was constantly hit with barbed wire.
Oh, geez. Barbed wire on your Impact show.
Yep. We get Jessica versus Alicia. Another squash match. Jessica wins very quickly after her spike pile driver.
Oh, spike pile driver for the finish. Interesting. Jessica versus Alicia in the battle of 2010 WWE Divas. Why do they only have one name?
Sami Callihan comes out. He interrupts the show. He's, for some reason, wrapped himself in barbed wire. He says that he wants Moose and Macklin at Victory Road on September 23rd in a barbed wire massacre match. Fantastic.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Triple threat barbed wire massacre. Sami Callihan, yeah, just like you do. When you're Sami Callihan, you just wrap yourself in barbed wire or just staple your tongue to your cheek before a promo. Just cuz.
Yeah, just cuz. I gotta ask, is this hardcore stuff just like, you know, I feel like Sami Callihan needs to take a step back after this program and remind people that he can actually wrestle.
I agree. I think that's a completely fair point. Yeah, man, 100%. It's a little too much. It's a little shticky. It's not as bad as some of the deathmatch stuff out there. Like, I don't find Sami Callihan's work to make me like squeamish or to. I find it to still be like professional wrestling work. He's still like, you know, doing intelligent things and making a really good match out of this crazy violence. But yeah, they're beating the crap out of each other and hitting each other in the head and bleeding a lot. And yeah, I can take a step back from it for sure.
Yeah, especially because like Sami Callihan was, you know, I thought he was going to end up being the contender for Josh Alexander at Bound for Glory. So, you know, I kind of want to see him go back to wrestling. Maybe have like one or two programs as a wrestler, do all the hardcore you want. But sometimes, it's, you know, if you're not in GCW, you gotta be a regular wrestler. Unless this is what he wants to do, then sure, whatever, go at it, right?
I'm sure it's what he wants to do to some extent because he's always doing it. But yeah, I think we don't need it every week.
Yeah. All right. Main event, match of the night, maybe. Possibly, if it wasn't for the trios match on Dynamite, which I thought was great, but not amazing, this was probably this, you know, oh man, it's hard to rate even matches in a week now with WWE putting such a focus on wrestling.
I know, man. Yeah, wrestling, like the floor is gonna raise a little bit. Although when we rate matches, we try to rate them against like every wrestling match ever and everything we've ever seen, which obviously is a lofty goal. But like we try to rate them against like superstars matches from 1991 and stuff. But anyway, with so much good wrestling happening right now, the floor has been raised. Like it's just the way it is. But yeah, this sounds like a dope 6-man here.
Yeah, but is the floor lava? Is it lava just yet?
Yes, it is lava and it's bubbling up, Boris. Yes.
All right, Time Machine, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, and Kushida versus Violent by Design's Diener, Eric Young, and Joe Doring.
Yes, sir. What a banger trios match. The Motor City Machine Guns and Kushida versus three good wrestlers in their own right on the other side.
Yep, exactly. Now, okay, we'll talk about this match, and then I want to talk about something about the Forbidden Door. All right, so Doring, I'm a huge fan of him. He ends up hitting Sabin with a power slam. Diener followed this up with a diving headbutt, and then Eric Young quickly hits an elbow drop. So bang, bang, bang. This wasn't enough to end the match. Violent by Design was just frustrated at this point. This frustration is their downfall, though, because Diener was attacked by quick punches and kicks from all the members of Time Machine, and then Chris Sabin hits Diener with a cradle shock for the win as the show went to a close shortly thereafter.
Oh, geez. So friggin' these guys are getting pushed pretty hard. They're coming in the whole Forbidden Door, so it's a good thing that Time Machine gets this win. Pretty important win.
Yep. So next week on Impact, Mickie James has a special announcement. Deonna Purrazzo versus Masha Slamovich in a number one contenders match. Really looking forward to that match. I've been saying for a long time, Masha Slamovich needs a real opponent. As Chris Canyon used to say, who better than Deonna Purrazzo at this point?
She's really good, man. The most underrated female wrestler in professional wrestling is Deonna
Having
Purrazzo.
said that, I do think Masha Slamovich is going to win.
Oof. You think so?
I think so.
I don't know. I think probably I'm gonna guess that Deonna wins via cheating, via Chelsea Green's interference.
Yeah, you see, that's could be the obvious way, but just they've been building up Masha Slamovich for so many months, just having her just rock all these opponents for so long, and then in her first meaningful match, she's not gonna get the win. I don't know. That's the one thing that makes me think that Misha is gonna win.
Yes, that's fair, man. That's absolutely fair. That makes you make a strong case. They should push some new people if they're really strong on Misha Slamovich. Like we said, it's a tough scene to crack, man. There's so many good wrestlers.
Yep. And then the Good Brothers are going to be facing the OGK, the Original Kingdom, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett for the tag team titles. Overall, okay episode. I would give this show 3.5 Dixie Carters out of 5 overall. They're planting seeds. They're like both pay-per-views, both specials are so far away that they're just planting enough seeds to keep stuff interesting. You have great matches like this main event. Anytime that you can see Kushida, Chris Sabin, and Alex Shelley wrestle together, you know it's going to be a good match. This show didn't have Speedball Mike Bailey, which made me sad, but you had Josh Alexander and you had VXT doing what VXT does best.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a good one, man.
Yep.
All right. So
what I wanted to talk about was Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin being pushed as super faces here at Impact. And from the looks of it, they're trying to kind of make them a little more heels in AEW as they team up with Jay Lethal this week. Is that the aura that I'm getting?
Well, it seems like it. Yeah, Jay Lethal is definitely a heel. Sanjay Dutt is super duper heel. So
yeah, so it's kind of weird, right? That the Motor City Machine Guns are being pushed as heels in AEW, kind of, sort of. But maybe that's going to be the story, right? Where Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal thinks that Motor City Machine Guns are fully on their side.
Yeah, I could definitely see that for sure. I think it's just more because they wanted to improve the match, and since since Jay Lethal is a heel, they're just going to maybe work a little more heel, but they haven't really done or said anything on AEW yet at all. So I don't think they're being pushed as a heel. They're just aligned with the heels,
Yeah, possible. That's exactly it, right? But it just to me, it's kind of weird sometimes, and that's kind of where the whole Forbidden Door kind of gets a little shady at times, because the way that you as a promoter might want to represent these people might be different than how they're being represented from their home promotion, which that's a whole other conversation, because I'm sure Scott D'Amore doesn't want Motor City Machine Guns to beat everyone up and drop F-bombs and be super heels.
Yeah, nor should they.
Yeah,
I think that makes
that's the extreme of this.
Yeah.
All right. So, shall we talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about NWA 74. So I didn't watch this show. I was thinking we could just read. We got to go like bang through this because this show is going very long. But I was just going to cold read the results to the matches, which as I'm looking right now, there were 30 matches, 3-0 over the 2 nights of NWA 74, which is absurd. But anyway,
Yeah,
you want
go
to
ahead.
Do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
There's a couple. We're doing fantastic today. There are a couple matches I do want to talk about, but I'll inject my thoughts. Apparently, I've been doing that all show as we go along.
Awesome. So yeah, to a lot of our listeners, this might just be like me reading random wrestler names. It would have been funny if I would have mixed in a couple fake matches here just to see if anyone caught them.
The Grand Poobah versus Ziggy Zaga Zoo, which is actually kind of sounds like a match that happened here.
Not too far off one of them somehow. But yeah, okay. So night 1 begins. The Country Gentlemen, AJ Kazana and Anthony Andrews, defeated Gold Rush with 3 H's, a team of Jordan Clearwater and Marche Rocket, managed by Austin Idol. Match 1 out of 30. Match
pre-show
2,
match. Whatever. Yes. The next few matches are pre-show matches, essentially after the Colby Corino match. That was the main event of the pre-show.
Yeah, the first 4 matches of night 1 are pre-show matches. So Rhett Titus defeats VSK. Rodney Mack defeats DePope, Elijah Burke.
Yep.
And Caprice Coleman and your boy Gustavo Aguilar defeat Colby Corino and Wrecking Ball Legursky in a Pick Your Poison tag team match.
Yeah, this match was fun, right? Like, I love Caprice Coleman. I always forget that he's a wrestler. He did a good job here. But come on, guys, push my boy, our boy, Bam's boy, Colby Corino.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need Colby to be like in main events of this promotion because he's arguably the best wrestler. Not even arguably, he's the best wrestler in NWA.
I think
at
so.
This moment.
Oh, I think so. Like, I cannot wait for his contract to be up. Insert weekly joke so that he can be main eventing Dark.
Brap. All right. So we're on to the main show. EC3 defeats Mims by submission. The Miserably Faithful, which is a 6-man trio of Judas, Sal, the Pal, and Gags the Gimp. They are managed by Father James Mitchell. They defeated the Ill Begotten, a team of Alex Taylor, Jeremiah Plunkett, and Danny Deals. Only 2 of these 6 men in this match even have a Wikipedia. This was a Beelzebub's Bedlam match, which was another name for a street fight, a recurring theme over the 2 nights.
Yep. So your Miserably Faithful win, better yet, better known as the MFers.
They're the MFers. Billy Corgan, ladies and gentlemen. Match number 7, Chris Adonis defeats Odinson. Match number 8, for the NWA Junior Heavyweight title, Homicide defeats Kerry Morton.
This match was great. This match was fun. This is a match that people should watch. Really enjoyed this. You know, and again, I said this on Rampage Ramble. I was pro Colby Corino getting this belt. I do understand that you kind of want someone with a little more name having some of the belts. Made sense that Homicide got it, but Homicide still has it.
Oh, he's still a very good wrestler. Absolutely. He's very small. And I think and he's older. I think that's the reason why he didn't really make it into AEW, but I could see him showing up there one of these days.
Same with Kerry Morton. Honestly, he's very good.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rolando Freeman defeats Matt Cardona by pinfall. Tough beat for the Long Island Iced Z.
So this match was funny just because Matt Cardona, he was able to pick his opponents. So he could have picked anyone. He picks this small little dude, Rolando Freeman. I thought it was going to be Brian Myers, just to have a finger poke of doom type of match. But I kind of liked how this played out. It reminded me of Razor Ramon 1-2-3 Kid.
Nice. It's the exact vibe they were going for. Yeah, Rolando Freeman's like a Marco Stunt type Pokemon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Next up, the Burke Invitational Gauntlet. a winner becoming the number one contender at the World Women's Championship. So Max the Impaler wins. She last eliminates Natalia Markova. Your opponents, your combatants here, Kylan King, Samantha Starr, Natalia Markova, Missa Kate. We are a big fan of Missa Kate's work here at the program. Maddie Renkowski. Maddie Renkowski. Maddie Renkowski. Taryn Terrell, Max the Impaler, Tootie Lynn, who also we love here on the show, Angelina Love, who is possibly the worst commentator in the history of professional wrestling, and Genocide.
Yep.
Great name. The best name in NWA. Genocide.
I love it too. I'm happy that Max the Impaler won. That was kind of my pick going into this match that I mentioned on the Rampage Ramble. So I'm shocked that they actually pulled the trigger, right? Like, I really, really thought that it was going to be Kylan King winning this match. She's had the most TV time, but yeah, Max the Impaler is such a different type of character. It's like Mad Max meets Rosemary
Goldberg. Yeah. Mad Max meets the Undertaker or something. Yeah. For sure. So I'm glad she's getting a push. Match number 11 on this never-ending show. Scion defeats Jax Dane to win the NWA National Heavyweight Championship. Match number 12, I heard some praise for this one. Bully Ray defeats Mike Knox in a tables match. I heard that was pretty good.
It was very good. This match was a lot of fun. If you watch an episode of Raw in 2006, you probably watched this match.
Yeah, there you go. La Rebellion win back the vacant NWA World Tag Team titles from the tag team of Hawks Aerie, which is Luke Hawks and PJ Hawks. I would have loved to see Hawks Aerie win that match. That's weird to me.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. La Rebellion makes sense, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. Weird one. And then your main event of night one, Camille defeats Taya Valkyrie, the former Frankie Monet, for the NWA World Women's Championship. So Camille holding on to that title.
Yep. And I love the fact that we still refer to her as Frankie Monet, considering she was only that character for from April to September of 2021.
Yeah, exactly. Right before the 2.0 switch. And then she was unceremoniously dumped, which was terrible. Anyway. Okay, here we go. Night 2, match 15 overall, match number 1 of the pre-show. Again, a 4-match pre-show here. So match number 1, Doug Williams and Rhett Titus go to a time limit draw because fuck my life. Match number 2, Angelina Love, the worst commentator in professional wrestling, defeats Taryn Terrell by pinfall. Match number 3, Kerry Morton defeats ya boy, Gustavo Aguilar. And match number 4, I actually like this gimmick for a match. It's a Queen Bee match. So it starts off as a 6-woman tag, and the 2 trios obviously fight. They have a tag team match. The winning trio immediately starts a 3-way elimination match. And the winner of that is declared Queen Bee.
We see this in lucha matches a lot.
I like this gimmick. This is the best thing Billy Corgan has booked in his entire career. This is the best idea he's ever had, to steal this from lucha. So our match was Natalia Markova, Missa Kate, and Maddie Renkowski over Kylan King, Genocide, and Taya Valkyrie. And then Missa Kate eliminated Maddie, and then Natalia eliminated Missa Kate. So Natalia Markova overall won this match, was declared Queen Bee, Boris.
Yep. That was a thing.
It was indeed a thing. Match number 5, 2 out of 3 falls. Caprice Coleman versus Colby Carino. Colby wins this match 2 falls to 1. Was this the best match on either night?
Yes, 100%. Match
bit, right?
By far. Dude, this match was so good. Go out of your way to watch. Actually, this match will either end up on our top 122 list or the hard cuts.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to do only 10 hard cuts this year instead of like 70 or whatever we did last year. It was too much. But yeah, I can see that. I'll definitely go back and watch this match and only this match. Next up, we had a tag team battle royal. I'm not even going to go through everyone in that. because it's just that we don't have enough time in the world. But there was like an 18-team tag team battle royal won by the Fixers, which are Colby Carino's group, Jay Bradley and Wrecking Ball Legursky. So maybe a little push for Colby Carino here. He wins, and then his group wins the next match.
Yep. Yeah. What's, I thought the OGK was going to win this, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. JJ Dillon did come out with them. That was a nice little touch. Yeah, right? I don't know, man. Like, I'm thinking that that's going to happen, right? I'm thinking that the Fixers are going to get a nice little push along with Colby.
I think so. I hope so. Next up, Magic Jake Dumas, with Christy Janes. I like the gimmick is he is a magician, but he's a bad magician. I don't like this guy that much. I've seen a lot of love for him on the internet. I think the gimmick is completely missed with me in the limited time that I've seen it. Maybe it was a better performance here. I actually might check out Magic Jake Dumas because I do love a comedy wrestler. But for some reason, he's not making me laugh. I'm not liking him too much. But anyway, Magic Jake Dumas with his assistant, Christy Janes, defeats Mercurio.
Yep.
Mercurio. Moving on, Davey Richards defeats Thrill Billy Silas Mason to retain the MLW National Openweight Championship.
Pretty fun match. Man, Davey Richards, so good. He's one of the few reasons why I still pay attention to MLW, along with Jacob Fatu and their champion,
Hammerstone.
Chris Hammerstone.
Yeah, Alex. Fake Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, yes, fake Hulk. Yes. He's more like, what's his face from The Wrestler, the movie?
Oh, yeah. Randy the Ram, Mickey Rourke. Yeah. He's a Mickey Rourke type Pokemon for sure. Next match, NWA National Heavyweight title. Scion defeats Anthony Mayweather.
Yep, that was a thing.
Indeed, my friend, was a thing. Next up, a street fight by another name, a Kings Highway street fight for the NWA World Women's Tag Team Championship. Pretty Empowered defeat the Hex, Allison Kay and Marty Bell. Pretty Empowered are comprised of Ella Envy and Kenzie Page.
Yep. So this match surprised me. I honestly thought the Hex was going to get their belts back, but man, NWA obviously sees something with Pretty Empowered. It makes me wonder if the Hex aren't going to be around much longer. But yeah, I was shocked with this match.
Yeah, I wonder what's coming for the Hex because they were pushed really, but they just can't. They can't be champions for 10 years, you know. So yeah, maybe it's just not their time right now. But yeah, it is surprising. I agree with you. I would have picked the Hex to win. Yep. Match number 11 on this show. For the junior heavyweight title, Homicide defeats Ricky Morton. So he beat the son on the first night. Now he beats the father night 2.
Sure. Why not?
Ricky Morton's still going strong.
Here's the thing. Here's where this booking bothered me. It should have been reversed. It should have been, you beat the old fart, and then you get the young, talented kid, as opposed to beating the young, talented kid first, and then getting the old fart. You're literally putting father over son, making it seem like father is the final boss.
Well, that's an excellent point, my friend. Well put. Yes, indeed. I think that would stand to reason. Although to Billy Corgan and to probably a lot of the audience, Ricky Morton is the bigger threat, sadly. Match number 12. Singles match. Nick Aldis defeats Flip Gordon.
This was a fun match. This was a good match. I really enjoyed this match.
Yeah, Flip Gordon's a tough case, man. He went from like BTE, like in with the boys, to basically not anywhere near AEW. I wonder, I have theories why that is. I'm not going to get into them on the podcast.
Yeah. Moving on.
Another street fight by another name. The Missouri Tornado tag team match. JR Kratos and DePope Elijah Burke defeat Aaron Stevens, the former Damian Sandow, and Rodney Mack, the former Rodney Mack.
Yeah, this was a thing. And then the next match was a whole other thing.
Oh my God. Match number 14. Thom Latimer versus EC3 ends in a no contest when Control Your Narrative runs in. The openly, I guess you would say, right wing, but that's not even what it is. That's not even bad if something is necessarily, it doesn't make it evil to be openly right wing. But Control Your Narrative is the stupidest wrestling promotion, stupidest I've ever seen. in my life. So to be involved with them is just instant change the channel. Like, thank you, Billy Corgan, for getting involved with them to let us know that we never have to watch another second of NWA.
This is what it comes down to for me. You know, they want to control their own narrative, but they have these stupid rules, and everything seems like it's a big cult.
I'm so
just happy Karrion Kross got out of there when he did.
Same, because he could be a legitimate star in WWE. He's way above it. But yeah, control your narrative runs in to disrupt Tom Latimer versus EC3. Match number 15 for the NWA World Women's Championship. Max the Impaler, who won that battle royal, loses to Camille. So Camille retains the title. Did you catch this match? Did you see any of this?
Yeah, I caught bits and pieces of this match. I started fast forwarding a little because time was getting a little tight. But this match was overall pretty good. You know, Camille, this is what AEW is trying to do with Jade Cargill, but Camille does it so much better.
Well, Camille's a better wrestler right now than Jade Cargill. Cargill has certain star qualities that Camille doesn't, but Camille is like almost as big, and she's a way better wrestler. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I like Camille's work a lot. Like, I will seek this match out. I will watch this in the opener for sure. And then the main event, the 30th match of the weekend that Billy Corgan promoted, it was Trevor Murdoch versus the aforementioned on the podcast, Tyrus with Black G's for the World Heavyweight title. Trevor Murdoch defeats Tyrus, and apparently there were some shenanigans at the end of the match. Trevor Murdoch was congratulating Tyrus or something, and then Tyrus flipped a table over and started yelling at Trevor Murdoch. So while congratulating him, he stopped and called him a bitch. Yep. I didn't catch the end of that, but I did read that in the report, and that stuck out to me. So I just regurgitated that verbatim to you, the listener. I will not watch this match under any circumstances ever in my life. I don't care if it was the worst match of the year and I have to watch it for a podcast. I'll quit the podcast.
9 hours, 2 nights. God damn you, NWA. But here's the thing. Look, it's a hard watch overall. The production is iffy at best. Some of the wrestling, I'm sure everyone has seen Twitter and that ladder spot from the Saturday show, right? Now,
what match was that in?
I forget which one it was. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, they do have some good wrestling. If you're a fan of old school studio wrestling, this might be the show for you. If you're a fan of Razzle Dazzle, this show will not keep you entertained. NWA should not have 2-night pay-per-views, should not have 9 hours of wrestling spread over 2 nights. Don't do that. Please, for the love of God, please don't do that ever again. I know it's your anniversary show. I know it's a huge deal. I know the NWA tradition, blah, 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 but please don't do that. They could have had a banger of a pay-per-view if it was kept to 1 night.
100%, man. Well, banger, maybe not. You know what? NWA has been awesome in the past. In 2019, they were sick, but a lot of that is the roster. And you could say what you want about Jim Cornette and whether it was just to fire him or not, but he's a way better commentator than anybody they have now, and he added so much to that product. So watching NWA Power in 2019 with Jim Cornette on commentary, with Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston cutting promos, like, dude, that's why NWA Power was so good, and why it sucks so bad now. God bless him. It's because the roster kind of sucks. Like, you heard the names we just read. Like, who in that bunch other than Colby Carino is a true blue chip A prospect? I don't know if maybe Camille. Max the Impaler, maybe Camille, Max the Impaler for sure, Colby Carino for sure, and other than that, it's a rough roster, man. Well, it's a thin roster.
You also have the new up and comer Ricky Morton, right? So.
That's what I mean. Tyrus in the main event, the 30th match. It's Fox News correspondent, the Funkasaurus, the Fox News Saurus. Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? Get out of here, Billy Corgan. So I don't know. I think anybody who paid for this show needs to have their head examined. And look, God bless you. God bless you. No, yeah, I don't mean to insult. If that's your bag, if that's your cup of tea, I hope you enjoyed it. But I'm glad I didn't pay my money for this. Are you kidding me? Funkasaurus, get out of here.
That's
give
the thing,
me a
right?
fucking break.
If you're looking for like it's whatever you're looking for. Like I say, this is the beauty about wrestling right now. There's so much out there that you will find your niche. You will find what floats your boat, right? Unfortunately, NWA as a whole doesn't float our boat. Maybe floats my boat a little more than Matt's, obviously, right? I will say it wasn't the worst, but it's far from the best, and there's so much work to be done. And I think that you hit the nail on the head when you did say that. Like, one of the things that made NWA cool in 2019 was the commentary with Jim Cornette. Were the up-and-coming stars like Ricky Starks, right? Like, he was huge in NWA. But, yeah, no more two-night shows. And, yeah, it's just, that was that. But
I think no more two-night shows. A little bit of fresh blood all over the card, up and down and in the main event scene. The next big NWA show, put Colby Carino in that main event against Trevor. Even if Trevor's going to roll him, even if Trevor's going to beat him in like 7-10 minutes, put him in there. Give him a chance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like they're going to, go back to Old Faithful, Nick Aldis, because they have this Billy Corgan versus Nick Aldis thing going on.
A groan. Shakedown 1979. Cool kids, Boris. We just don't got the time. Man, I fucked that up. I butchered that. Damn it. It would have been good. I need to get to work.
Yep, same here. All right, so that is the show. That is BAM. Thank you for listening. Just remember, you can get this show and every other show if you join our Patreon, patreon.com/SNME radio. You can, here on BAM, we talk about everything. Sometimes we'll do a quick review. Sometimes we'll go in depth, but we always try to give you an updated view of what's going on with these matches. We usually talk Impact. We usually talk New Japan Pro Wrestling. We throw in NWA. We throw in MLW. We throw in random indie shows if you want us to watch it. Let us know what you want to hear. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/SNME radio. And just remember, you got a slew of shows coming this week, including 2 after parties. He's Matt. I'm Boris. Stay tranquilo.
Ay.